Okay, so let's dive into this amazing musical mystery from the 18th century. It's this incredible tale about a composer who discovered a timeless sound in, well, the most unexpected place you can imagine. So, we're looking at a masterpiece by a really famous Italian composer, but something is immediately off. I mean, look at it. The notes, the very language of Western music, they're written backward, from right to left. You know, that's a question that doesn't have a simple musical answer. Nope. Instead, the answer reveals this hidden story of profound respect, a clash of cultures, and a lost world of ancient music. It's fascinating. So, to solve this riddle, first things first, we need to meet the man behind this very, very unusual score. This is Benedetto Marcello. And you gotta understand, he was a nobleman, a man of high status, and seriously one of the leading creative figures in the whole vibrant scene of Venice. But he was also a bit of a rebel, a guy who went against the grain. So while all his peers were chasing fame and money in these opulent, kind of over-the-top opera houses, Marcello, well, he was getting pretty disillusioned. He actually wrote this biting satire just ripping into what he saw as empty show-offiness and ego. He was looking for something deeper, something more authentic. And he found that authenticity he was searching for in the last place anyone would have thought to look. He literally turned his back on the fashionable stage and found what he believed was an eternal, timeless sound in the ancient chants of the Venice ghetto synagogues. So what did Marcello, a Christian nobleman, actually hear in these synagogue melodies that so completely captivated him? What was it? For him, it was like night and day. On one side, you had the music of his world, which he basically called superficial and trendy, and on the other, these chants he discovered, profound, spiritually powerful, and, he was convinced, a piece of living history. Now, what's really key here is this insight from the musicologist Edwin Cerruti. Marcello wasn't just, documenting some exotic folk music. No way. He was absolutely convinced he was hearing an echo from the ancient world, a direct link to a noble, sacred past. And for him, this wasn't just some historical curiosity. Marcello believed he had stumbled upon something truly holy, a musical tradition that had somehow survived for millennia. I mean, think about how radical this idea was for the 18th century. He was proposing that a 3,000-year-old musical tradition, the actual music of the Levites in the ancient temple, had somehow survived exile and diaspora and was still being sung right there in the heart of Venice. It's a wild thought. And he approached this whole task with just immense care, like an archivist. He says in his own writings that he went right into the synagogues to listen and record the chants directly from the singers, and he was determined not to change or refine them in any way. And this part is crucial. It shows he wasn't just imposing his own theory on things. He actually talked with community members, probably rabbis and cantors, and learned that this belief in the music's ancient origin was a living oral tradition held by many within the Jewish community itself. Okay, so all of this brings us back to our big mystery, the backward notation. I mean, why go through all the trouble of writing music in a way that basically no European musician could easily read? His logic all came down to one thing: profound respect. That's it. For Marcello, the sacred Hebrew text was everything. And since Hebrew is written from right to left and the music only exists to serve that text, he believed the music itself had to bow to the direction of the holy language. And you don't have to take my word for it. In his own words, the explanation is incredibly simple and direct. It's not some complex musical theory. It's just a powerful act of cultural deference. He wasn't trying to translate the tradition into his world. He was bending the rules of his world to honor the tradition. So what was the impact of this incredible and incredibly respectful project? Did anyone even hear this music? Did it just disappear? Well, Marcello incorporated these ancient melodies into his compositions for 11 of the Psalms in his absolute masterwork, Estro Poetico Armonico. It was this huge multi-volume collection that was published between 1724 and 1727. And get this is how we know the music didn't stay hidden. Within just a few years of him recording them, these exact melodies, sung in Hebrew, were actually performed in an oratorio on an opera stage in Prague. The ancient chant had totally crossed over. And here's the most fascinating paradox in this whole story. At the exact same time that many Jewish composers were trying to adapt their music to sound more European, it was a Christian outsider, Marcello, who recognized this unique, secret treasure within their tradition and fought to preserve it in its purest form. Marcello's story is just such a powerful reminder, isn't it? It proves that sometimes the most profound discoveries aren't made by searching for something new, but just by having the humility to stop, to pay attention, and to truly listen to the ancient voices that are singing all around us.